Is the 1500-hour rule really that important, or is this rule really superfluous? Or do you not yet know what the 1500-hour rule entails? Let's dive deeper into it soon. It is no surprise that being an airline pilot is a difficult job that needs one to pass a lot of written and practical tests and a whole lot more to simply get qualified. But did you know that there is more than just the regular examination that makes a pilot fully qualified to drive an airplane? The 1500-hour rule is a rather controversial debacle in the flight committee that requires a pilot to have a minimum of 1500 hours before they can apply for a job within the airline. But how and why is this rule controversial? Hello everyone and welcome back to Aviation Zone. I kindly ask you to watch the video till the end to find out what is the cause of this event. Fasten your seatbelts as we take you on a ride through everything you might need to know about the 1500-hour work rule. The 1500-hour rule came into power after the tragic Colgan 3407 air crash in 2013 to protect the passengers from the exploitative airline industry from producing subpar pilots. But ironically, experts suggest that this rule actually performs the opposite of what it promises. To understand why, we need the first answer: what exactly is the 1500-hour rule? As the name suggests, the 1500 hours rule allows airlines to hire a new pilot as a first officer only if the pilot has 1500 hours of total flight time along with an air transport pilot license. So what's so wrong about imposing this new rule? Well, how much time do you have? For starters, the first rule is a visual flight rule, or VFR. Airlines fly by instrument flight rules, or IFR. Granted, the FAA says nothing about the type of hours pilots log to attain the 1500 hours needed to qualify for the Airline Transport Pilot (ATP) license, but it does make one question: how the quantity of hours flown really affects the quality of the pilots, or even further, whether it actually is a loophole for many to get the last system. Secondly, the rule prevents the opportunity for pilots to work together as a two-pilot crew. This is a crucial part of any airline training, as the first officer and the captain need to have a great rapport, an understanding, and at least some deal of experience via training to be able to successfully do the same while actually flying the airplane. It is in fact a dummy rule imposed to shut up the public and act like the legislator actually bought in any change about the disastrous Colgan 3407 incident. Because if you think about it, the 1500-hour rule came about due to the families of the victims of the Colgan Air Flight 3407 crash near Buffalo, New York in 2009, who in their fight for justice fought against the Congress, who in turn Emily tried to force the FAA to implement the rule. One needs to keep in mind that both the pilots involved in the crash had more than 1500 hours, but obviously that's irrelevant. Before we continue with this amazing information, I kindly ask you to become a member of the Aviation Zone family by subscribing. Thank you in advance. The real intent of the 1500-hour rule should have been to impose a higher level of qualification for Part 121 airline pilots. We all understand the longing to set a new minimum standard for airline pilots, but the truth is there have always been adequate minimum standards. The Colgan Air Flight 3407 disaster wasn't a result of inadequate training, but a negligence by the companies to eliminate the officer from the ranks because of below-grade skills, and that is the actual reason of the accident. The harsh truth is, the 1500-hour rule would not have prevented the deaths of the two Colgan pilots, 2 flight attendants, 49 passengers, and 1 person on the ground. Around the world, the 1500-hour rule is actually not the norm. In fact, one cannot get a direct entry as a first pilot with just 1500 hours of training because it is actually considered inadequate. Yep, you heard that right. A commercial pilot license and with a frozen ATPL theory training means that pilots all have the same training required for an ATPL license, but in order to actually get it, they need to expand their experience to 1500 minimum working hours as second or first officers. After this, the pilot can do their skill test to advance to an air transport pilot license, and this is done long before they actually get a chance to upgrade to the captain level, which typically happens around 3,000 hours of total time. This is the way that the licensing system was originally planned to work, and it encourages the first officers to get paid as they're building understanding to watch that higher license. Thus, it might be true that the 1500-hour rule is more damaging to the public than what meets the eye. So that's it for today. If you haven't subscribed yet, I kindly ask you to do so and turn on notifications. Thank you very much in advance.